Welcome back to Simply Trade Tips with Hammer and Heels, Renee, Chiuchiarelli, and Julie Parks. As always, we're going to leave you with a call to action and a FIO, figure it out. So we're on our last episode, episode 5 of Managing a Project. The name of this episode is Taking a Lap. And this is our 3rd series. We're making progress, Jules.
I love it, Renee. I'm excited for this topic.
Yeah, I love this one. So what are we going to talk about? Tell us.
Well, so we discussed all about the project and all about the pitfalls and the goodness and the, things that happen. And we think that this is important to call out, and we called it taking a lap. And what that means is when you're finished with anything, I don't care how big or small the project is, take a moment to just tell people about it. Tell your leadership, write a blog in your newspaper at work. So we're going to kind of go through some tips associated with that element.
Okay, cool. So we're going to start out with celebration and lessons learned, right? So we have a couple topics. First section, first step, take a lap means what? It means celebrate, like Julie said, promote it, put it in your newsletter. You could even post it on LinkedIn, frankly. Hey, we finished an awesome project. It was 6 months long. No.
Right.
So what does that look like, Jewel, in your opinion? Taking a lap celebration.
Yeah, I think folks really like to be recognized. Monetary pieces tied to these things is a good way to recognize people. There's a lot of companies that have events like that, and if you don't, it's important to ask. It's amazing what a gift card can do in some way, shape, or form of extending gratitude in that regard. And also, I also think that some of these projects are above and beyond for a lot of the team members. So it's really that we really want to recognize them and kind of a more monetary way. But if you can't, there's also a way to kind of like, who's their boss? Who's their boss's boss? Could you ghostwrite an email for them of gratitude so that it looks like the boss knew that they were, of course they will because they're going to read your email, but it's really important to kind of get recognized within their lineage. So the other part is, you're working on all these cross teams. So maybe you're thinking about who is their boss or their boss's boss, and can I send them a note of gratitude and copy them in? Or, and just because folks don't get to toot their own horn a lot of times. And if you're wrapping a project, it's really easy to be like, this person just shined bright. This person was a steady. We really appreciate all the help that they gave, those types of things, and be specific about what you're calling out, because I think those leaders really want to hear.
Yeah, and I think at Raytheon we did have a monetary award system, which was awesome. We could ask people to provide awards. We could ask them to submit they could go into the company store, or just like you said, an email through the award system, not necessarily associated to monetary. And I remember people that worked on our team would be like, I felt really good just to get that email.
Yes.
So
yes,
to your point,
I think even like during a meeting, the blah blah, as the meetings continue, right? Those stand-up meetings. Do you have a staff briefing? Maybe you're talking about that quick speech that please talk about what the person did, but also talk about like what the value was to the company. Because sometimes when you're a participant on a project, you might not know the total value of the project, right? So you did that at the beginning of the project, and you would redo it kind of at the end to be able to take your lap. But the idea is to kind of solidify what the value was of the project, and in those briefings. Gosh, Renee, what else? You can hold a party.
You used to do that a lot. Like you would schedule a party for us on Zoom. Well, during the pandemic, we were on Zoom, or we would celebrate
right?
when
Everybody's everywhere, right? So that's a great idea.
Sometimes we would celebrate in person when we were able to meet up as well, do something. Company swag. People love company swag, and plus they're proud to wear it. And then what I really like is telling stories. What happened in the project. I remember Janet and I we had some good stories in this recent project we did for classification, and then it's fun to go back and remember, what somebody did positive,
Yes,
general.
but also kinda like maybe you're calling out somebody that they didn't know that they were being funny or, like, they might have not known. So it's also some of that, like, 360 feedback right in the storytelling of it. And I think,
Yeah.
Renee, this one's hard for me, but I really do think, you and I were chatting about it, and I'm really, understanding the fact of the gift of taking the break before the next project. Just
Yeah.
take a couple, make sure the team knows we've got a couple of week of a breather, and then we're gonna start with whatever the next round is, or something, or you won't hear from us for a short period of time, and maybe you're working on funding for another round of something that you're doing. But I think it is important to notify that take the break. Mhm.
Yeah, let it settle, give it some time to actually celebrate, because celebration isn't 15 minutes. Sometimes it's a couple weeks. And like Julie says,
Yes.
short break. I'm like, we're gonna take a long break. No, depending on the project, right? Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah, that's
can be
important.
creative on what that means to take a lap, but I think what's important is that you pause and you tell the story to everyone, recognizing the people that were like that knocked it out of the park or just contributed. They don't even need to knock it out of the park. Like those steady folks that were helping are they definitely helped. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So don't forget about
Yeah.
those. Mhm.
Awesome. And then the next we have kind of capturing lessons learned. What did we learn from this project? What could we do better? What could we improve on, continuous improvement in the next project?
Right.
So what do you
Right.
think, Jewel?
Gosh, Renee, does it all go smoothly? Heck no, right?
Not
There's
usually.
unplanned events, there's, things that go on, but it is important that, in your lessons learned and I recommend doing this as part of, like, not directly related to your celebration, but kind of a post after your celebration. Don't let people go away, or you can do it in the same meeting, but, it's important to celebrate people and then ask, "What would you do differently for the next project?" And then document it. So when you think about your project plan, you're going to have those project accessorials of your funding, your benefit analysis, et cetera, the risk log, the issues log, and you really should have a lessons learned document that ends up staying with the project because generally projects feed into one another, and it really is nice, given a lot of our staff rotations. It is very nice to be able to have that if you're anyone that's ever picked up a project where you didn't know what happened in phase one or round one or a similar project. It's really nice to have those documented.
Yeah, I agree. And so a little summary, we had 2 steps. This was our easy episode, Jules.
Mm.
What does
Yeah.
celebration look like? And just make sure you celebrate. And by the way, if you listen to our last episode 4, we talked about this issues log, this project management. It can be done with your broker, can be done with compliance issues. Like, let's say you had one compliance issue and it went on for 6 months. That's a project. So you
Mhm.
can celebrate that. It's not just large software implementations like we said last time. So you can use this celebration tactic for smaller projects. It's important to celebrate people and their hard work. Like Julie said, a lot of times this is extra. This is outside of their job. So, what's our FIO, Jewel?
Hey, so we want y'all to practice celebrating. Um, and I think with tariffs going on and all the things that are going on in global trade, I think there's a lot to celebrate. There's a lot to shine a light on. How do you share that success more broadly, not just in the team of peers, but sharing it so that it makes its way, to the CEO and maybe gets incorporated in some type of a speech. You wouldn't believe how, and I know some of these tariffs are involved in a lot of shareholder meetings. But we want you to just take an opportunity to think about something that your team or someone in your life has done well and celebrate that
Yeah.
using some of the tactics that we mentioned here.
Yeah. What has your team accomplished recently? Look back and take the lap, celebrate, and then do your lessons learned. Okay, great, awesome. We've got our FIO. We invite you to our community, Trade Geeks. Let us know how you're doing. If you were able to celebrate something, take care. All right, thanks, Jewel.
Thanks, Renee.